Hello, friends from Five Reasons. This is Alejandro Villegas with you again. Welcome back to the Five Reasons YouTube channel. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much for subscribing, for turning on the notifications so you get a message every time you get a notification right there on your phone or your computer that we are going live. That's very important for us in order to keep growing our audience here in the channel. Today, we're going to do a little summary of the Miami Heat NBA Media Day, what was said there, what happened, and everything through the voices of the important people, right? Erik Spoelstra and his boys, and we're gonna have Erik, of course, the head coach, and seven of the Miami Heat players, 7 or 8. I have to check real quick, but anyhow, you're gonna have the entire press conference here all together, so you don't have to be jumping from one video to the other. We're gonna have the entire session here for you guys. So thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for being part of the Five Reasons family, not only here on the YouTube channel, but also on the website, fivereasonsports.com, and also on the pods. That's our main channel. Well, even though the YouTube channel has been growing a lot, and thank you very much for all your support. So we're gonna start with Erik Spoelstra. He was the first, so he gets seniority here in our channel as well. And this is what he said today in the NBA Media Day before the Miami Heat Los Angeles Lakers final.
Erik, how long did it take between the celebration the other night from advancing to the finals and everybody kind of digging back in to what you guys need to do now going forward?
We did take a night just to acknowledge it and enjoy it. The players and the staff and families that were here, I really I wanted everybody, to have perspective on how difficult this is, how extraordinary of a experience all of this is, being part of this bubble, being here for 80 plus days, surviving all of it and earning the right to compete for an NBA title. But we just got off a very competitive, hard fought series, and emotionally, I don't think anybody's ready just to turn that page. But yesterday was a work day. For the players, it was a day just to recover and relax, and we got together last night and did some more prep today.
Next question, Tom D'Angelo.
Hey, Erik.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Erik, how was LeBron different today than he was the last time he wore a Heat uniform?
I don't know, but I just think it is a true testament to his greatness to be able to sustain this type of success year in, year out, different uniforms, and everybody, new players and new teams, going after him. It's a real testament to that commitment. He's seen everything, at this point in his career. It's just about winning, and his ability to do what he does at his age is incredibly uncommon. But there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes, to be able to maintain that.
Thank you.
Next question, Kyle Tucker from The Athletic. Go ahead, Kyle.
Oh, sorry about that. I know this has been talked about before, but you got a couple Kentucky guys there. One's the boss, and two have been a huge part of this run. And I know you've sort of addressed it, but what is it about Kentucky guys, do you think, they're the two you have anyway, and about their Kentucky experience, do you think that has prepared them to be ready for such a stage so soon?
Well, we have to have a few Kentucky guys on our team because of my boss. That's like a prerequisite. Somehow, some way, we got to get somebody from his alma mater on our roster. This final seems like a great recruiting pitch for Cal, doesn't it? And I'm not sure he's going to maximize that. We love Kentucky players because you're there to get better, to be pushed, to understand what it means to play for a team, play a role, and to train to become a pro at this level. You're going to face good competition in practice. You're going to be expected to work, and it's an environment that, as much as it possibly can prepare you for the pros, even though it's at the collegiate level. You know, our two guys played significantly different roles for Kentucky when they're in college, and that was part of the thing that we liked. They're both willing to play a role. Young players, oftentimes it's just about how many shots they can get and how many touches, scores, so they can improve their draft process. But if you just watch all of those games of Tyler and Bam, you know, when we met with them, they both said, "Hey, we're capable of doing more," but you always take that with a grain of salt. Every player says that. But they truly did just commit to a role and then worked like crazy behind the scenes on their player development. And it's been obviously just a good fit with us, their mentality, and how we are.
In person, Tim Reynolds on your right.
So much got made and much still gets made about how LeBron changed after 2011. How much did going through that change you as well? I mean, it seemed like that's when there was like a further commitment to positionless and putting together guys as groups instead of just individuals, and figure out how you can play guys as five instead of where one guy would fit. It just seemed like a lot changed with you that off season too. How much did going through that help you out as well?
All those are great professional and life experiences to be able to have that opportunity to grow. And, you know, the first two teams I coached as a head coach were much different than that whole experience. And the game started to change, you know, during that run. And we had to adapt and adjust accordingly. But, you know, I learned and grew in the NBA in the 90s under Pat, and then the early 2000s. You look at those games systematically and schematically and just stylistically to compare to where it is right now, it's two different sports. So I'm just very grateful that I had that opportunity to be able to grow and be on that journey with that group. That was an amazing team. And everything that came about it, in many ways, just my personality. I hated it, and you know, I'm an introvert, so I don't like, you know, that. But I think it was good to go through that. Sometimes, you know, even as a professional, just to get out of your comfort zone and embrace it and see what happens when you get out on the other side of it. It feels like a totally different chapter in my life, but I'm truly grateful to be around those special players, that group that was so committed to coming together to compete for titles.
Dave here in the front.
Erik, how long did it take you to come to terms back in 2014 after LeBron left to recognize, you know, that there's going to be another chapter? And then what's it been like to see him make 5 more finals appearances since you guys parted ways?
Yeah, the first part of that, you know, we went through the whole process. I went through my own, you know, 6-week reflection period that summer. But then you get back to work. We've built a lot of different teams over the years, and we've been conditioned to move on and give everything, your heart and soul, to the next group and the next team. And we really thought that we had a championship contending team that next year. That's how we approached it. However, it's irrelevant what anybody else thought. We knew who we were losing. But when we made that midseason trade for Gorn, we made a promise to him that we would be competing for titles. It was just so unfortunate that CB wasn't able to finish the season. But we owed it to Gorn to fight for it and go for it, and we ended up fighting for the playoffs. Dwayne missed 25 games, but we were just there at the end. We got knocked out of the playoffs with 3 days to go. But you gained that experience. I think it was important to show Gorn that we were not going to tank and we were going to continue to build. And the next year was the year that we were able to go to Game 7. We thought that was a legit contending team. And we had that just really tough 7-game series with Toronto. We weren't able to make it to the conference finals to play against Cleveland. We thought we really had a chance that year. And that's what this game does to you sometimes. It breaks your heart. That year really broke our heart. We thought we really had a good run in us. And that was the second year. That's where CB again had to step away. But then to see, what LeBron has done when he moved on to Cleveland, and to hear it really is just a testament to his greatness and his commitment to winning, and to be able to do it with different rosters and uniforms is really remarkable.
Thank you, Coach. Goran will be right up.
Cool. Thank you.
Hello. Bam, you were so hard on yourself after Game 5 and looking ahead to the Lakers. They are such a big team, which makes your role, which makes Kelly Olynyk's role even more important. How do you approach, especially the early minutes, looking towards this matchup to kind of avoid getting in ticky-tack foul trouble early? What do you see your role as here?
Obviously, you got to be smart about, like you said, ticky-tacky fouls. But being active, just match their energy. There can't be a second on the floor where they're playing harder than us. I feel like that's where our chance is. We can't let them just get free layups and get in this motion, and then, that's when everything starts clicking for them. So just making it tough for them, and then also being smart with the basketball, and then just setting up strategic plays to get easy baskets.
Tim Reynolds right here on the right side.
You've probably been through 700 practices with this team in 3 years. Did today have any sort of a different feel as far as it being a finals practice, or was it just a typical Heat, get down to work day?
Yeah, it's preparation. We've been prepping for this since September, which is kind of crazy. But, if we would have been preparing for the finals 2 weeks ago, we wouldn't be ready. This has been like a grind throughout this whole year, just shaping and morphing and trying to figure this out. And now we're here. So, it's a toss-up now.
Next question, Will Manso.
Hey, Bam, Spo was almost defensive earlier in the postseason when people kept asking about your style of play and whether you should be more aggressive. And he said, look, Bam is Bam. Stop trying to make up something else. But there's no doubt that your numbers have gone up significantly in the playoffs from all-star level to almost superstar level. I mean, what do you attribute that to? What has been the difference, you think, in your production?
I don't know. To me, I feel like I'm out there hooping and just doing the right things and making the right plays and just holding myself accountable. We're in the playoffs. It's this is win or go home. So, when you have that type of mindset, you got to go out there and back that up. And I've been doing that, and I need to keep doing that.
Next question, Ethan Skolnick.
Bam, both Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard have been very complimentary of you as a player, and kind of watching you. Dwight went on for about 3 minutes when he was in Miami, when the Lakers came in, about how much he just enjoys your style of play. What is the challenge for you against both of these players? Because you're going to be seeing, I'm sure, a lot of both before the series is over with.
The shot blockers. You know, that's one thing that they're gifted with, shot blocking. So just not letting them off the hook, just staying aggressive, and then get my teammates open and just keep playing my style of basketball.
Dave, right here on the right side, in person.
Bam, staying on that same line of questioning, Jimmy and LeBron are going to get a lot of the attention going into this thing, but the series could hinge on the matchup between you and Anthony Davis. And how do you view that? And then also going back to the Kentucky connection, do you guys have any sort of rapport relationship through that?
I mean, once you go to Kentucky, you'll follow it forever. So, you know, me going into Kentucky and committing, he probably heard about me, didn't know who I was, probably knew I was just a kid going to Kentucky. But, you know, you never know. These series are going to be fun, man. Like you said, it might be me and AD, it might be LeBron and Jimmy. So at the end of the day, we just going to go out there and just play like we've been playing throughout these series and put together 48 minutes of Miami Heat basketball, or even longer if we have to.
In person, Dan, over here.
You've been wearing the Kobe 5s throughout these playoffs. You wore them in the last game, I know. His death this year, how did it affect you? And when you wear those shoes, do you spend any time kind of thinking about what he's meant to you or the game?
Well, obviously, you know what he means to the game because you've seen everybody when they heard about it. Nobody wanted to believe that. It still doesn't feel real to this day, but you see the effect that he had on the world. And me growing up, I was a Kobe fan, Kobe fanatic, and just being able to just wear his shoes, and you know, it's my favorite shoe to play in. So I've been playing in them this whole playoff run, so can't stop now.
All right, our last question for Bam is from Kyle Tucker of The Athletic.
Bam, I'm curious, what's one specific thing from your time at Kentucky that you think most prepared you to have this kind of success this early on this big of a stage in the NBA?
In Kentucky, when you play against rival schools, it's kind of like their Super Bowl. So whoever we play away or at home, they're going to give us our best game because they want to beat us so bad. So you can't be scared to be in those moments that define you, define your team. You can't be scared to live up for those moments. I feel like that's the biggest thing that helped me get to where I am, living in those moments.
Jimmy, you're I don't want to say your MO because it does vary from game to game, but you're very big on getting your teammates involved early. Even some games like pointing to the corner and telling Duncan go there and expect the ball and all those things. Do you expect that to be the way you're going to start the finals as well, or do you have to kind of go out of character and look to get yours a little bit too and get yourself going a little?
I don't know. You know, we'll see as the game goes, but I think there's a lot of nerves for a lot of people, including myself. This is the first time being here, so I just want to make sure that everybody's comfortable. And we've been playing a certain way this entire year. I'm not getting away from that. I think that's winning basketball for us. Me making sure that everybody's involved. I think that's part of my role on this team. So we'll take it as the game goes, and then we'll figure it out. But I mean, I'm sure before the game, UD, Dre, Spo, they'll definitely tell me what to look for and how to start, I guess.
Next question, David Aldrich.
Jimmy, wondering if the year you've spent down there getting to know Riles and what he's about matches what you may have thought about him before you got there.
Yep. Every aspect of it, everything that I've heard, obviously from D Wade and just around the league, it's everything that I wanted to be a part of. He's the individual outside of basketball that everybody's said that he was, and definitely about winning and winning now. He's definitely about that. So he's been a huge part in our success of putting this team together, expecting greatness out of each and every one of us, and putting us in a position to be great. So without him putting this thing together, I wouldn't be up here. We wouldn't have this great group of guys that we have. So we are all very thankful for the Godfather.
Next question, Tom D'Angelo.
Jimmy, when you entered the league, LeBron was 26. How much is he much of a different player now at 35? And how impressive is it that he's been able to play at this level at 35?
He's still at the top of his game at 35, at 26, at 21. He's still dominating. And I mean, you've had to go through him at 26, 35, probably at 49. But he's shown why he is the player that he is, why he's had the career and the legacy that he's continually building. And it's not going to be an easy task these next couple of games. If anybody's up for that task, the Miami Heat are.
In person here, Dave?
Jimmy, obviously your decision to go to Miami seems to be paying off splendidly so far. But last summer, there were a handful of teams with the cap space to be able to accommodate a player of your ilk. And I wanted to know if there was any consideration on your part about seeing what the Lakers had to offer or going down that road at all.
No, I knew the type of structure that I wanted and needed, and it was here. Heard about it, obviously. Remember, I was meeting with Coach Bo, Coach Pat. It just felt right in every aspect of it. How we got a bunch of good people here. Not saying that the Lakers don't got a great bunch of good people, but everything that they're about, it just fit me working. We got a group of guys that do that as well. Saying it like it is, holding everybody accountable, and moving on from it. They say that's how we do that. You get to come here, you get to be you. I'm in.
Next question is Vincent Goodwell.
Jimmy, I know your time in Chicago didn't end the way that you liked, but how much time have you spent thinking about some of your old teammates, the Luol Dengs, the Taj Gibsons, the Joakim Noahs, the guys who haven't made it to this level? Have you spent any time of reflection thinking about that early part of your journey?
I'm grateful for that part of my journey and for those guys. They showed me the way to being a pro. They showed me where hard work will get you and how you just can never give up. I talk to a lot of those guys still, and I let them know how thankful that I am, because I don't think that I'd be here without them. Them letting me know that you have to stay ready, your time's coming, and that you belong here. They were constantly telling me how I could play in this league for a very long time. So looking back on it, I guess I could say a part of the reason I'm here is because of those guys.
Malika in the center.
Jimmy, you said the other day that you don't like to be thought of as underdogs because you're a group of NBA players, but you did have 60-1 odds to be here. What is the identity that you do like to think of yourselves as if it isn't underdogs?
A really good team. That's it. A really good team. Not going to say that we're any better than anybody else, but I just don't think that we're underdogs. I don't. So what that nobody picked us to be here. That's okay. Pretty sure nobody's picking us to win either. That's okay. But we understand that. We embrace that, because at the end of the day, we truly don't care. We're just going to go out here and compete, play together like we always have, and see where we end up. But at the end of the day, we're going to do this our way, the Miami Heat way, and that way's worked for us all year long.
Next question, Greg Logan.
Jimmy, I'd like to ask you to go a little deeper on what you said earlier about going to Miami because you like the structure there, because you were with a very talented team in Philadelphia and it didn't click. What is it about this organization or this structure that fit you so well and that allowed you to make the impact that you did?
I think, like I said, I just get to be me here. I get to call it how I see it. Nobody takes it personally. You don't have to worry about anybody trying to control me. As it was said, people was trying to do over there. But I have no hard feelings towards any of those players, anybody in that organization. I'm glad to be where I am. As you can tell, it's worked out. And that's where I leave it. I knew what we could do here. We added some key pieces in the middle of the year, and we are where we are. So I don't really look back at it too much. I got to stay focused in on the right now and with the group that I have.
To Gary on your left before we go back to Rob on Zoom.
Hey, Jimmy, for your career, you've just been yourself and you've ruffled some feathers and that type of thing. Was there ever a point in your career you thought, am I doing this right? Or was it just, like you said, just finding the right place that would welcome you?
Right by who? Like, everybody gonna have their own opinion. Nobody's in the locker room. Nobody's at the practices. It's all he said, she said to a point. So nobody really knows what's really going on. I don't explain anything detail for detail. So I just take being a bad guy. I like it that way. So, like, it doesn't bother me. It's not like I'm reading everything that's on the internet. I know who I am. I'm cool. I'm content with that. And that's what I leave it at. I'm here now, and I belong here. I belonged here for a very long time. So that's where I'm at. Here, me being ruffling feathers, whatever you want to call it, it's okay here.
Next question, Christos Saltis.
Hello, Jimmy. You talk about the heat wave. So, what will gonna be the key factors of the whole series for you? And also, if you win the championship, will you bring free coffee from your coffee shop to your teammates?
I'm not giving nobody free coffee ever. It's not gonna happen. It's not, except for Coach O. Coach O, he gets free coffee. And then as far as the first question, I just think a championship is going to be one that we have to do together. And I can't exactly remember how you worded the question, so I'm just going to guess. But I know that together, this group, it's how we want to win it. I think we enjoy each other's success so much, man, that you can tell every single day when we're in the hotel. Yeah, we talk about the game, but we also talk about how much joy it brings us to play with one another and how you can't take this for granted. And with this group, we got the right number of young guys who are super confident, older guys who are super confident, then guys that are right in the middle that are super confident. So for us, it brings us pure joy to watch us continually grow as a team.
All right, the last question that we will take on the Zoom will be Brandon Tobin.
Hey, Jimmy, there was a great video of your guys' celebration of you walking in wearing an Erik Spoelstra University of Portland jersey. How did you get your hands on that, and what did he say when he saw it on you?
Obviously, he thought it was comical, but I got quite a few jerseys tucked away in my room. It's just when is the right time to pull them out. But Spo's been huge for me in my growth here as a player, as a leader, as a human being. So I'm grateful for him. But just to keep it lighthearted and enjoy a win, knowing the most difficult part is ahead of us. So I don't know, it's just a way to show my appreciation.
Last question here, Sam.
Jimmy, you talk about Pat with such reverence, but I'm curious if you go back to the pre-Heat days and even maybe when you were a youngster, like when did Pat Riley become a person who you were aware of? And then when you went through free agency, you've talked about the meeting, but I mean, did you talk to D-Wade about Pat? Did you talk to LeBron about Pat? I mean, how did you learn about him?
I mean, I played with D-Wade, and I think that's where the whole thing started. Yeah, you know who Pat Riley is, but it's not like you're going in detail because obviously I thought I was going to be in Chicago my entire career. But he would tell me about the way things were done there, about Coach Spo, about Coach Pat. And then it's just like, man, that's my type of the guy that I want to play for, that I want to be around. Obviously, I get traded a couple times and end up here, and it's everything. I'm so comfortable with being myself more than I've ever been. Not saying I've ever not wanted to be myself, but now I know myself is the right way. Look where myself have gotten me now. And it's all because he empowered me to be able to do that with these guys. These guys love me, love who I am, and it's reciprocated towards those guys. I'm just grateful for him and for him believing in me and giving me this opportunity.
Thanks, Rob. Hey, Gordon, how do you, as you had that day to settle in and Spo told you guys, hey, enjoy this. So what's the refocusing process? Like, was it yesterday? What time did it hit you? Like, okay, we won the East. Now our focus is on the finals.
Probably that night that we won. We had dinner, and after dinner we a little bit celebrate, but we knew immediately the next day that we need to get back to business and, try to get focused and be ready to play.
Next question, Mark Medina. Go ahead, Mark. Unmute your line. All right. Why don't you take it now, Mark?
Okay. Tim Reynolds right here in the second row. Just wait for the mic, please.
Goran, there's a small European country where these games are going to be shown at a little after 3 o'clock in the morning. How is your family going to handle? Be a lot of naps involved, or just stay up all night? Like, do you know how this is going to go over at home? These really early morning games there.
My kids, they're gonna be sleeping, but definitely my wife, my parents, my friends, they're gonna probably go to bed and set an alarm clock around 2:55 and woke up and get excited for the game. So, but definitely I know my pops, he's definitely gonna watch it. So.
Any other questions here in person? Rob, anyone on your side?
Right. Ethan Skolnick, you're up.
Goran, I know winning a European championship was huge in your career, but when you came to the Heat, Erik just spoke on it that there was a promise that you were going to be competing for championships, and then obviously what happened with Chris, and it didn't quite get there. Can you put into perspective what this means for you? Because I kind of feel like Heat fans are almost happier for you than they are for anyone else because you stuck through it all this time.
It means everything to me. That's why I came to this organization, to win something. And unfortunately, it happened what happened in the past with CB and with some other players. But, I'm not a quitter. I always try to stay with it and do my job. And, all these people in organization, they believe in me, all the fans, I really appreciate for their support. And like I said, I try to give every game 100%. And on the end of the day, I can look myself in the mirror and said, okay, I did it. I give everything what I got. And if this was enough, was enough. If not, not. So, but like you said, I'm really happy to be in this position right now. It's been, amazing season for me. And we're still not done. So hopefully we're going to have a lot of, good games left. So.
Goran, do you feel kind of like the bridge in a way from the CB Dwayne group to this group? Because obviously UD is still there with you too, but but you are the tie to a team that did get to Game 7 of a second round series against Toronto and had a chance. Do you feel like you're carrying the torch in some ways? Because Dwayne and Chris seem as excited as anybody else about this.
I mean, you can say it like that. You know, of course, yeah, I play with those guys, and we won, you know, a lot of games. But you know, then when you know D Wade left and CB got hurt, and we changed a lot of things, and um, definitely, I feel like it, that now that we are here, it's meaning even more to them and to me. So I see on social media, CB and D Wade, they're always rooting for us, and it means a lot to us as a team. And to see that you know what they did in the past, it means a lot to us too. And you know, I was not a part of that, but as soon as you put that Miami Heat jersey on, you know, it's like, okay, you need to compete and do your job like the guys that did that before me. So
Next question in person here on your right, Dave.
Hey, Goran. Deion Waiters is on the Lakers, and the other side, I wanted to see your experience playing with him as a teammate and your thoughts when he ended up on the Lakers after you guys split ways.
yeah, I mean, Dion was great. You know, me and him, we really had a good chemistry on the floor. That time, that year, we call it 7-11, and you know, we went through a lot of ups and downs in that season. We won 11 games and 30 losses, and then we flipped the season and won 30 games, 11. So, but yeah, unfortunately with him, you know, he had a lot of injuries too, so he was in and out of rotation, and it's just the way it goes, you know. And now I'm happy for him that he's, you know, with the Lakers. He's a great dude, great teammate, and I wish him all the best.
All right, next question is Anthony Chang.
Hey, Goran, what's been the message from guys like UD and Andre over these past few days, and how important is that experience? You know, I think they're the only two guys in the roster who have been to the finals before. How important is that experience and their voice, you know, in preparation for the series?
You know, they were simple. They said, guys, you know, we deserve this, and just enjoy it, enjoy the moment, be present. And, you know, like you said, preparation is the big key. You know, those two guys, they know what it takes to win. And, you know, they give us that confidence that we can do it. And, you know, everybody's locked in. Everybody's paying attention. Everybody's on the same page, and can't wait to start.
All right, next question, Tania Ganguly.
Hi, Goran. You know, you talked a little bit ago about what is expected of you as soon as you become a Heat player, that hardworking mentality. What is Erik Spoelstra's role in sort of embodying that culture and you know, having everyone buy into it?
I mean, first of all, you know, he's a great coach. He understands what players needs, and he challenges you right away. As soon as you get there, he say, you need to work on this and this and try to get better. And that's how he was with me, and I love it. And from there on, he's one of the smartest coaches in the league. You know, he knows what the team needs. He knows where the ball needs to go, and he builds around that to, you know, to bring the best possibilities from the player on the floor. And you know, he's always there for the players, so that's why he gives lives and confidence to everybody.
Next question, David La Gazzetta.
Hey, Goran, what do you think is going to make the difference in this series?
I mean, a lot of things. You know, we need to defend, we need to rebound, play team ball. I think so. That's going to be the key for our success. To play together as a team, and you know, try to make tough on them.
Next question, Robert Orodas.
Hi, Goran. A little bit on the light side. Can you explain a little bit how the celebration go on in the bubble? I mean, you probably have to call some people. And then Jimmy Butler said something the other day about Zoki being his favorite Dragic. Do you have a favorite Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, you know, after the game, we've been all tired. We went back to hotel, eat dinner, and after that, we were in the lobby bar and just have 1 or 2 beers, having fun, listening to some music, and that was it. Um, for Jimmy, he's one of the funniest guys that I ever met in this league, and a great competitor, a great teammate, and he always brings the best out of other guys, and he's challenging them. But at the same time, he likes to joke around, and one of his jokes is that I'm his brother, that me and my brother Zoki, and his name is Zogi. So he's always messing around with me that his favorite Dragic is my youngest brother Zoki. So, but he never met him. So.
Thank you, Goran.
Thank you, G. He's my favorite too, Goran.
I know that, Rob.
Hey, Tyler. So what's the secret sauce to being so good at hitting shots with the shot clock expiring and the clock just getting to zero? How did you train yourself to be so good at that?
Just practicing over and over, practicing any shot, preparing for any moment. And then whenever that moment comes or the opportunity comes, just being ready for it and to capitalize. Just knocking down shots with confidence.
You never had like a clock or anything, did you ever go through drills where to perfect that? Because obviously you could shoot anywhere, anytime. I'm talking about specifically with that pressure, knowing the shot clock expiring, etc.
No, I mean, just knowing I think just being aware of the shot clock and knowing that it's winding down 5, 4, 3, 2, and just, once you see that, just having to make a play right away out of it. Never had really a time or anything like that, though.
Okay.
Next up, we have Barry Jackson with the Miami Herald. Go ahead, Barry.
Hi, Tyler. You talked last week about being doubted at times in the early stages of your career. Does lasting to 13 in the draft, does that fuel you at all? Do you ever think about that? And if not that, what does sort of give you a chip on your shoulder, which you'll remind yourself of sometimes as motivation?
Definitely. I think being drafted 13 definitely motivates me. But I love where I was drafted. I mean, I love the opportunity I was drafted to, the situation, but the 12 guys ahead of me definitely are in the back of my head all the time. And I know every last one that was drafted ahead of me. And I mean, it definitely does fuel me. But I think just with our team, we have a bunch of guys like that who were doubted, who were looked over. And I think that's, the chip on our shoulders that we have.
All right, next up is Julio Montenegro from Argentina. Go ahead.
Hi, Tyler. What would be the keys to win the first game of the finals?
Keys to the first game, just coming out with a lot of focus and energy, sticking to our game plan. Obviously, very talented. They have 2 of the best players in the world on that side, and we're going to have our hands full for sure. We respect them. We know how talented they are. But we're definitely feel like we have the right pieces to win game 1. And that's all we're worried about right now is game 1. So as long as we keep, the game 1 the main focus, we'll go game by game. But game 1 is our main focus right now.
Thanks.
Next up we have Vincius with Brazil. Go ahead.
Hi, Tyler. Nice to see you. I always seen in social media Jimmy making fun of you, and in your 37.9, Dwayne Wade said that you definitely got a black friend. So I just want to know How can you describe your relationship with them?
Jimmy? Our relationship with Jimmy is what it is, what you guys see. I mean, he's like a big brother to me. He's there since I've been drafted. He always feeds life into me, gives me confidence, allows me to be myself on the court and off the court. And, you know, we're just, you know, we found a good blend, you know, with each other. And he's just a leader. He's just going to lead me and lead the rest of the team to where we want to go.
All right, next up, we have a question from Mark Bergen with New York Post. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, Tyler, a lot of Kentucky guys in the NBA Finals. How much credit do you give to, you know, someone like Kenny Payne, who's now in the NBA, and you know, what did you think about him getting an NBA job, going to the Knicks?
Yeah, I think that's tremendous for him and his career coaching. KP was like, you know, a father figure to me as far as just mentoring me when I was at Kentucky, and we still talk to this day, almost every day. So he's a great leader in his own way as well. Just been around a lot of tremendous players, talented players who came through Kentucky and are obviously in the league now. But he's what he is. I mean, he's gonna get on you hard. He's a tough coach. He's gonna coach you. Your best. He's gonna try to bring the best out of you. But I'm really happy for him and happy that he got that job.
Thank you.
All right, we'll finish it up with the last question from Rodrigo from Brazil. Go ahead.
Hey, Tyler, you're being clutch for the Heat in just your first year. This almost no pressure that you feel, it's something that you carry since high school and college. And how are you feeling now for the NBA Finals?
As far as the clutch shots, I think just, you know, having the ball in my hands where my teammates, coaches trust me with it. They know I'm to be confident with it, and you know, I don't feel the pressure. I don't think there is much pressure. At the end of the day, we're just playing, competing at the game of basketball. That's my mindset, my mentality. As far as the final goes, I'm just excited to be here, blessed. Can't wait to get started tomorrow. It's going to be a fun series. It's going to be tough, but we're excited to get started tomorrow.
All right, Jim, I'll throw it to you if you have anybody there in person. Thank you.
I think we do. Michael, go ahead, please. Yeah. I'm just curious. The guys that came in the league with like Michael Jordan and Kobe, they always say the first time they played against them was in their head. Does LeBron have that effect on young guys, and is it hard to get out of the mind?
Yeah, I obviously looked up to him for years. LeBron James, he's one of the best players to ever play. But at the same time, it's my third time playing him. So at this point, you know, I'm not looking up to anybody. Obviously, he's what he is. He's a tremendous player. But at the end of the day, we're competing to win a championship, and I think that's the biggest thing. You know, when we step in between the lines, it's time to compete and time to win. So that's all we're worried about.
Obviously, face LeBron probably more than anybody else. Just curious, what's one key that you have to do defensively to have a good day against him, and what's one thing you cannot let him get to if he's going to beat you?
I mean, it's a very complex question. I don't know if you really have one answer for it, to be honest with you. I mean, the guy's versatile, can do so many different things, and his greatest attribute isn't scoring, but he's still, you know, he'll still go down as he might have the most points in NBA history, depending on how long he plays. So I think that's kind of gives the proper perspective on it. You just got to be ready to play, you know, follow the game plan. It takes 5 guys, got to be all on the string, and you know, communicating that, mental aspect of the game, just being ready every possession. You know, knowing that, letting the other team know you're going to be there for the fight as well. Psychological game too. So it's complex, but, we've been through a very unique season. We're going past 365 days for one season with a pause in between, 2 pauses in between. So just, accepting the challenge and being ready to get after it.
All right, next up is Mark Medina from USA Today. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Andre, good to see you. On that note, when you reflect on those different matchups facing LeBron, what are the moments that stick with you there, and how have those experiences shaped you overall?
I don't reflect too often. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I haven't had really a chance to reflect. Obviously, playing against him so much, guys' tendencies, and watching it, you can kind of predict what the guy's going to do before he does it. But when you're in the game, I think it's different. You don't have the same predictability because it's kind of more of a field, and so many different factors going on with you being on the court. So just trying to give that feedback to the guys, more than anything, just taking the challenge, embracing it, enjoying the moment, and just trying to make the most of the opportunity.
All right, next up is Barry Jackson with the Miami Herro. Go ahead, Barry.
Hi, Andre. Not to compare these 4 players, but how much easier does it make the game when you're going from quality of shooters like Hall of Famers Curry and Thompson as teammates to what Duncan and Tyler can do as a young age? And have they exceeded what your wildest expectations might have been as young shooters and more when you arrived?
Yeah, I've been on a few different teams throughout my career. I had really great shooters in Denver as well. I learned is, you try not to compare them. You just got great shooters across the league, and your shooting's getting better and better because there's more emphasis on the 3. So you're seeing more guys in the game who, are just high clip 3-point shooters. And we got 2 young guys who have worked really hard to get to this level. Duncan coming from D3 and Tyler, more on the scene. But both those guys just having that edge and wanting to prove to people that they deserve to be on this level. And you combine that with heat culture. That's kind of it's a deadly formula. So they're excited for the moment and excited to see. How to react to, everything that's been going on, and just embracing that and going out and playing and having good games.
Thank you.
All right, up next is Rodrigo from Live Basketball Brazil. Go ahead.
Hey, Andre. I mean, how important is that for you, this next final game, this final series, sorry. And I mean, what's the difference between playing this year and playing the last couple of years?
We're in a bubble now, so a little different, different type of environment. I think you have to be mentally tougher here now. It can be different, not having road games as well. But like I said, you got to embrace this moment, try to take advantage of it, which I feel like we've had thus far. Both teams have taken advantage of it thus far and been able to overcome mental challenges and continue to come together and get better as a team throughout the entire bubble process. And here we are. So just embracing it. Same mindset going into every game, attention to detail, making sure we're getting our scout reports down and, trying to throw the first punch and accepting that, any punch that comes out to that's from them and having our counters and end of the day, enjoying it all.
And all the other, what do you think? I mean, you guard LeBron a lot of times over the years. And what do you think is the strategy to stop him?
Just defensive principles. You want to make guys put guys in different positions, take them away from their strengths. He has a lot of them, so just being strategic. Like I said, 5 guys on the string takes 5 guys on being on one accord defensively, communicating, understanding the scheme you're trying to do, and trusting everybody. That's a big part of it. Trust the 4 guys out there on the court with you.
Thank you.
All right. Up next, we have Andres Lopez. Go ahead.
Thank you. Andre, you kind of referenced this in a previous question, but this is your 6th final appearance. If anybody knows what it's like to be in the finals here, it's you. Being in the bubble, do you think this poses more of a challenge going into a potential 7-game series in the finals than it would in a regular environment?
I think there's different types of challenges. The bubble, I think, alleviates some issues you might have being outside in the regular world that you don't have to worry about. The social media has become a beast, and it's fully thrust itself within the game, and it can have its effects on the mind that directly affect the game at times, and how guys can react to it mentally. There's a gift and a curse to both sides. There's mental sides of being here as well. Like I said before, I think both teams have been able to overcome that and get through it and take advantage of the situation and get to where we're at. So, the good thing is, I think we'll get some good basketball. You only got 2 weeks left, max here. So guys just, you dug it out. It doesn't look so grim anymore being, 2-3 months out. Funny thing is, we've always said, we got 3 months here. And, it sounded cliche because everybody's supposed to say it, but I think we really thought we'd be here for a long haul, and just try to take advantage of the last couple of weeks.
All right. Next, we have Nick Friedel with ESPN. Go ahead, Nick.
Andre, specific to the last 5 years with the finals runs with the Warriors, what do you think you learned most with that group that you can impart to a bunch of guys with your new team who haven't been through the finals experience before?
Learn how to answer questions with the most boring response. It's very, very key. And you and I have had a lot of conversations. And I've actually had some great relationships, or come to meet some cool people, whether I'm being crazy or being very boring. So, but no, it's all seriousness, just understanding game to game how the narrative changes. And like I said before, the media, social media, all those things have really they've really thrown themselves into the game. And I think it can have an effect on the game, whether positive but negative as well. And you got to have a mental fortitude to just kind of clear all that out and have a clear mind going into each individual game, and just taking it, one day at a time with your adjustments, with preparation and all those things.
All right. Next up, we have AJ Speaks with the Miami Heat. Go ahead, AJ.
Dre, I know you're a thinker, so I'm curious of what your answer will be to this. Given that part of the season you were away from the game for a little bit, and now being on this stage, have you had a chance to think about that whole where you are and how you got to where you are right now?
Not really. I think being in my situation, like, I really don't have anything to lose. And, very few times have I actually been like, I don't know how to put it, because I don't want to say selfish. I think you have to be selfish sometimes. I was just telling my son this other day, so you got to start being selfish. But, with the way my game is, has first, or, always looking to deflect any attention, and trying to be humble. Not saying that I've been perfect at it, but I think in that situation, I just had to be selfish, and I think I was an opportunity that could have been. And I'm not selfish, probably the wrong word, but being an opportunity where I can dictate my future and trying to do it the best way possible, the most professional way possible, and everything, just having faith in what I believe in, and things just really worked out. So, you got to give a lot of credit to, the beliefs that I have, and standing on those beliefs and believing that, there's a higher power. And everything kind of just worked out. It's been interesting. So the last couple of weeks, I actually been thinking about that a lot. Just really been blessed with the events that have occurred in my life.
All right, Mo, I'll turn it over to you there.
Well, we'll take one in the room. Dan Wiki.
Hey, Andre.
you competed against Erik Spoelstra coach teams for a lot in your career. Relatively played for an Erik Spoelstra team for a short time. How have those things compared? Has it been what you expected? And from the outside, what was it like going up against a Spo coach team?
Yeah. Well, early in my career, I talk about it with Spo sometimes. Is first year, my rookie year in the league, Jim O'Brien was the head coach, and we got tape and shoot arounds. And every day we got after it. So going up against, so it was instilled in me early, this is how you work. You got to work hard, and you got to earn minutes and, everything that goes into that. So it kind of set the table for me in terms of this is how you prepare, this is how you train, this is how you get better. You go hard. So going up against the Heat team, it was good grinds. That's the type of basketball you wanted. And then I had to guard the best players every night. So going up against D Wade all those years, I was just up for that challenge. So it was a lot of fun. Then as you get older, you start doing your homework on organizations more so than just players. Being with the union, you start hearing, this is how this organization is run, this is how that organization is run. You start hearing, about heat culture. And then I think it was good to actually experience it. I always talk about every young guy should experience what heat culture is like, because it sets them up for success throughout their entire career. And then Spo was even saying, every veteran should experience heat culture. And I think it's just it's about maximizing each and every player to complement the whole, to have a complete team. So it's been a good experience.
Hey, Jay, good to see you.
Good to see you,
So I was just wondering, after last season, you were, a component on a Jazz team that was eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. After that, you get traded to Memphis. You wind up, in the NBA Finals with the Heat. Can you just kind of reflect on what this past year has been like for you?
Man, I've been able to play in the playoffs, so that's all. My main focus has been playing at the highest level of basketball, and that's the playoffs. So through all that turmoil, I've been able to play basketball at a high level, and I'm grateful for that. And obviously, with the acquisition that we made, me moving here into Miami mid-season, it's been good for myself and for this team. So I've just been able to just take it in, live in the moment. Obviously, I just wanted to play on the playoff team come trade deadline, and I wanted to be able to play for something. And that's where we're at right now. All right, Mark with the Memphis Commercial Appeal. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Jay, how's it going? I don't know, you probably don't even realize this because you're in bubble, but tomorrow will be a year from Media Day here in Memphis, exactly a year ago. You were, and if you go back to that moment, it's sort of bouncing off what you just answered, like reflecting on what you were able to accomplish both this year, both here in Memphis, where you became the leader of a young team that overachieved, and now with Miami, where you're this integral part of a championship team. How rewarding has this season been for you?
Well, it's been a learning curve for me, just in the sense of the start of this season, being in Memphis. I took on a different role. I took on a role that I've never taken on before in the NBA locker room, and it's just being a main leader, being a main vocal point, being a main guy who the young guys can lean on. I just wanted to excel in that role. And then once I got to Miami, I had a role to excel in as well. So it's been pleasant for me just to see the hard work and the dedication I put into my craft, into this job, into basketball pay off a little bit. And it's paying off in the sense of wins. And I'm playing at the highest level that you can play at as an NBA basketball player. So obviously I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the ups and downs of it all, the moving around, all of it. I'm grateful for it. I'm humbled to be a part of it. I just think it speaks on my hard work and how I approach the game and how I approach my job and how I approach my craft. It's just, I'm always trying to stay present, always trying to stay in the moment, and always trying to give it my best. So it's been great just to be a part of everything in the past year. All right, next up we have Christos from SDNA Greece. Go ahead.
Hello, Jay.
First of all, how is the atmosphere inside in the locker room before the game one, and what is the mindset from you and from your teammates about game one? And also, do you believe that the game one will set the tone for the whole series?
The atmosphere in the locker room, obviously, we've been focused throughout the whole playoffs, and we've been taking our opponents one game at a time, one film session at a time, and that's how we're approaching this game as well. We will be prepared mentally and physically for game one. I think obviously you have to readjust whatever it is you need to readjust per series. I think our coaching staff has done a great job of getting us prepared for each and every game, whether they go our way or not. I felt like each game we were prepared enough to win a game. And I just think that's key at this point of your season, just to be prepared. Make sure all guys on the locker room is on the same page. Everyone is locked in on the same goal, same page, and I just think that's key when you look into the playoffs and you look into each game, each series. It's key just to be on the same page and have one goal, and not just to win a game. Put ourselves in position to win a game, come fourth quarter. From there, the rest of it will take care of itself. But I honestly feel like each game we've had this postseason, we've been mentally prepared and physically prepared for battle. And I think that'll be the case tomorrow night.
All right, next up we have Manny from The Athletic. Go ahead.
Hey, Jay, you faced LeBron quite a bit over the years. I'm curious, what's one thing you got to do to make sure you have success against a LeBron James-led team? And I guess what's one thing he can't do or get to that if you want to beat him? One thing you have to do, one thing you can't let him do.
I mean, one thing you have to do is respond to the runs that his teams go on. Each team he's been on, he's been able to create such a separation at some point in the game, whether it be one big crazy run. I just think you just try to minimize that as much as possible. And that goes on both ends of the court. Obviously, you got to get good shots on the offensive end, and defensively, you got to make it as tough as possible for not only him, but for other guys as well. So I just think minimizing his knockout punches, his major runs that his teams go on, and just making it as tough as possible. It's not an easy task. Obviously, we all know that, but it's definitely something that's in our back pocket to just try to minimize as much as possible. You can't. It's such a good team, such a good players over there. You just try to make it as tough as possible each and every possession.
And if I could, as a quick follow, just your shooting in the last series. I know it wasn't what you did the first two rounds, but with the Heat, it's always like they give you that confidence to keep firing away from three. I guess where's your sort of confidence lie after what happened in the Eastern Conference Finals?
I mean, well, it happens. I put my work into the craft, and obviously I was getting different looks and good looks that I wasn't able to capitalize on. And obviously, I'm focused on just moving on to another series, and do what I do best. I play confident. I play hard. I feed confidence into my teammates, and I'll continue to do so. But I put the work into it, and it's all going to come to play sooner or later. Obviously, our style here is let's do what we do and do it at a high level. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play basketball at a high level, step into my shots at a high level, and play with confidence.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have Michael Lee with The Athletic. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, Jay. It's Michael Lee, The Athletic. I know that you've had a chance, you've bounced around a lot of places. And what does it mean to be here on this stage, to finally make it this far, knowing that, are you fueled by a lot of the times you've been traded, you've been moved? Is that always been a motivational thing for you? Was it special to get past Boston, considering, I know that Gordon Hayward's on the other side, and there's a lot made about you being there when you were there. Are you motivated by being moved around, I guess?
I'm just motivated. To be honest with you, I'm motivated by winning. I don't care where I play. Obviously, I take pride into the group that I'm playing with. I obviously give them my all. But here I'm trying to be special. I'm trying to be special with a special group of players, and that's my motivation. Just trying to conquer it all. Trying to win it all. I mean, that's my motivation. That's been my motivation. Not so much of the trades. I don't look at that as motivation. I just try to make my mark each place I go, and that's my motivation. Just to be the best version of me I can be, wherever my number is called. Winning conquers it all. Winning conquers everything. So I can say that's my main motivation as I tie my shoes up as a basketball player, just to try to win the game, no matter the cost. And I don't look too far into other teams or teams that I used to play on and stuff like that as motivation. I feel like I've been in the East Conference Final twice, 3 times now. I fell short twice, and that was my motivation, just to get over that hill, conquer the task of just winning at that stage. And obviously, you build that as your career goes on. But that's always been my motivation, to just try to win at a high rate, try to win it all.
Thank you.
All right, next up is David Wilson with the Miami Herald. Go ahead.
Hey, Jay, not to harp too much on your shooting, because that's not all you're obviously worried about, but with these extra days off, are there certain things that you like to do to I don't know, maybe watch more film of seeing if you were doing anything differently or just getting more shots up? Is there anything you're taking these couple days to try to reset there?
Yeah, for sure. Mentally, just take a step back from it, and then put the work into it, or whatever you come up with. Mentally, I've came up with a few things, and I'm just trying to do what I've been doing. Obviously, I didn't hear you guys I didn't hear any media, or I didn't talk about my shooting when I was making shots. So it's funny that I want to talk about it now. But at the same time, I'm just doing what I do. I'm playing basketball. I'm trying to play at a high level. I work at a high level. So I just let what I do behind closed doors, keep it as that. I don't want to shed too much on that. Obviously, I'm a worker, so I've been working on that. So that's just all. Obviously, I watch film on it. I try to correct some things, but at the same time, I just got to play with a high level of confidence, do what I do.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, Nick Friedel with ESPN. Go ahead.
Jay, what does it say about Myers' personality that he's gone from starting pretty much the entire season before the stoppage to now he's really not playing at all, but he's still screaming and yelling for you guys on the bench all the time?
Total team player. A guy you want to have on your team, 100%. He gives his all to the team, whether it be physically or whether it be verbally. He's a total team player. I think our locker room has embraced him as such, and it's just been a pleasant ride to be along with him. So with that being said, he definitely has a voice in our locker room. He's a leader in our locker room, someone we can always expect to be engaged in each and every game. And he's been a great teammate. He's been one of my best teammates to be at this level. Obviously, his role got cut, and his attitude never changed. I think that speaks volumes of who he is as a person and who he is as a player professionally. He's definitely someone you want to have in your corner.
How rare is that in the league from your experience?
Very rare. You got to look at a lot of guys have personality. A lot of guys have confidence. A lot of guys have pride, and sometimes they get in the way. And it hasn't thus far with Myers, and it just speaks of who he is as a person once again, man.
All right, next up, AJ Speaks with the Miami Heat. Go ahead, AJ.
Hey, Jay, 2 questions for you. The first one, it seemed like in the last game, you really mixed up your game and started going inside and attacking. Is that something that you'll look to do? Hey, if my shot's not going, I'll just change it up and do whatever I need to do?
Yeah, I mean, I've always tried to be just a basketball player. I don't want to just look at a guy who's just one-dimensional or just you expect the same thing each and every game. I'm a basketball player. I feel like I do a lot of different things on the court. And I've been able to fill a role here in Miami, but at the same time, I am a basketball player, and I can't put the ball on the floor. I can't make plays for myself. I can't make plays for my teammates. So I just tried to mix that up, see how they was guarding me. And just trying to adjust. Each series is going to be different, so I couldn't expect me to shoot the ball like I did in Milwaukee series and Indiana series each and every time. But I can take my time and focus in on how the defense is guarding me and how can I adjust as a basketball player to help my team succeed. So that's all I've been doing. That's all I've been focused on doing, and that's what I was doing during the series. Just watching how they were guarding me, watching their weak side, watching everything about how they were defending us as a team and me personally as a player, and just trying to adjust my game. Obviously, I had a couple of things go my way, but I still was able to affect the game on both ends of the court, and that's what I tend to continue to do.
Following up on Manny's question about LeBron, you also may get faced up with AD. What do you have to try to take away when you're defending him? What are the challenges? there?
I mean, it's a lot of different challenges. Obviously, the main thing is play with physicality and not foul. I think he gets a good rhythm going at the free throw line. I want to do my best to make it as tough as possible and just defend without fouling. Be my best version of myself on that end of the court without picking up any ticky-tack fouls, without sending him to the line to get a rhythm, and just make it as tough as possible. I think he's a hell of a player. He's a proven player on the offensive end in our league, and he's done a great job of just being the second option, being a great first or second option, whatever you want to call it, in this league, and just being able to put the team on his back on the offensive end. So it's a tough challenge for all of us, and we're able to. We got a lot of guys on this side who's willing to take on that challenge. And I think that's key. When it comes, it sounds simple, but it's key. Just willing to take on the challenge of defending him and making it as tough as possible. That's my goal.
Hey, Duncan, what's going on, man? First, congratulations on making the NBA Finals with the Miami Heat. My question is, can you believe just a few years ago you were sending out text messages seeking potential jobs in sports media, and now you're a key cog in the Miami Heat getting to the NBA Finals?
I can believe it. But I certainly didn't expect it. I understand that nothing is guaranteed, and throughout my career, if there's one thing I have learned, it's not to expect anything. So, I'm incredibly grateful to be in this situation. Humbled by it in many ways. It's still kind of been surreal, but certainly not content with where I am either. I'm excited for this opportunity to compete and hopefully leave my mark on this series.
Well, now that you are in the finals, I guess I got to ask you a follow-up question. If you were pursuing a job in sports media, what avenue would you go into? Would you want a job, per se, doing what we do as the guys asking you questions, a play-by-play guy? What would it be that you would want to do in sports media?
Probably not necessarily asking the questions. Something to do with content. I like to write, whether it be content, like everybody, I have no shortage of opinions. I got my opinions on everything. So maybe something kind of in that avenue.
All right, next up is Barry Jackson with the Miami Herald. Go ahead, Barry.
Hi, Duncan. Couple things. Have you had the ability or the access to use gyms at the complex at midnight or late at night to work on your shot if you felt you wanted to? Have you done that at all? And also, have you heard from any friends, former coaches, former teammates who have said to you, can you believe you're in the NBA Finals over these last couple days?
I've heard from a lot of people. People have come out in support from all different stages of my life and my basketball career, which I'm really appreciative of. That's one of the things that is so special about this is you get to share with people and kind of have that experience with others. So definitely have felt the support, and as for shooting, the NBA has done a really good job of making gym time available, and I've tried to take full advantage of that. Some days it's resting, just to obviously these playoffs have been somewhat of a grind as well. So it's always been about finding that balance between rest and repetitions. But the NBA has definitely made gym time available, which has been great.
Have you gone late at night, Duncan?
So we have not like midnight. We have a gym slot every night from it's either 9 to 10 or 10 to 11. So. Earlier on in the bubble, I was pretty much at every single one, and now it just kind of becomes like getting where you fit in, how your body's feeling, and just kind of read it from there.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is Andres Lopez. Go ahead, Andres.
Thank you. Duncan, I think we can all agree that you're at a high point in your career right now. Also referencing that text message that has recently gone viral, we can all agree that you're at a high point in your career, making the NBA Finals. And looking back, though, can you reflect a little bit on the low points of your career and how these paved the way for you to be here today, sitting here in the NBA Finals?
Sure, yeah. I wouldn't necessarily refer to them as low points as much as just, learning experiences. I've had a handful of them. I got pulled out of the starting lineup my junior year. I got pulled out of the starting lineup my senior year. So I didn't start much of my college career.
I wasn't recruited in high school. I was coaching, or I was posting coach DMPs my junior year of high school. So that's pretty unheard of for a guy that goes on to play college basketball, let alone the opportunity to play in the NBA. So for me, it's just all about really just building the trust and the resolve to just continue to push through in those moments. And I feel like those kind of plateaus can turn into springboards for success if you approach them with the right mindset. And I give a ton of credit to my family, people in my corner, my close friends, who really kept me grounded in those moments. And it's not anything, some secret recipe or whatever. It's really just about continuing to push forward, being persistent, continuing to show up.
Thank you, Duncan. We love having you here.
Appreciate it.
All right, next one is Christos from SDNA Greece. Go ahead.
Hello, Duncan. I guess you're watching the NBA Finals on your TV last years before. To be in a member of NBA Finals, what it means for you and your sacrifices and the whole work you put on in the court, and also what was the best advice that you heard through the years, and who told it to you?
I've gotten so many examples of great advice. It's hard to pinpoint one. Probably the best advice has been from either my family or my close friends of just really being present. There's a propensity to get caught up in what's next, or how can I parlay this into my next opportunity, or how can I do this or that. One thing that I feel like has been an advantage throughout my career is that I've tried to excel where my feet were, and just be the best version of myself in the opportunity that I'm in, whether that be the role, the school, the team, whatever it may have you. Just continue to push forward with that. Honestly, I don't remember your first question, so you might need to ask that one again.
Yeah, I guess you watched the games, the NBA Finals on your TV a few years ago, and to be a member of, to play in the NBA Finals, what it means about your work, your sacrifices, and stuff like this.
I referenced it earlier, but really, it's a humbling opportunity. Certainly didn't expect to be here. So that first and foremost, and I'm just incredibly grateful for all the opportunity that I've been given within this organization, within this team, and it's been a ton of fun with this group of guys to just compete and just have another shot at winning an NBA championship. So it's been an incredible run, and we're certainly not content with where we are. We want to continue to push forward.
Thank you very much.
All right, Joanne, if there's anyone there with live questions, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Dan Moike at the LA Times.
Hey, Duncan. Thanks for not going into print media. We don't have enough jobs. Jimmy came into your celebration that night wearing a SPO University of Portland jersey, and so much of SPO's story is always back to that video room. But he was a player.
Yeah.
Did you ever see him pick up a basketball and play? Did you know that he was a player? And do you see any of that point guard still in him today?
Occasionally he'll mess around with just dribbling the ball or finishing or shooting jump shots, very occasionally, but he'll do it. I didn't know he was a player. I remember listening, I think it was the Woj pod or something like that. He was talking about his experience overseas and his experience at Portland. So I knew he had a career as a player and been a good one. So it's funny to kind of see it come out just in spots here and there.